Hello and welcome back to the Rugby Hour, your weekly hour of two guys talking poppycock about the rugby.
Oh, they're synonyms.
I'm Hugh and I'm once again joined by Kieran.
Yes, I'm back. I know I say that every single week now, but I am back, and we're back with this week 6 of our podcast. And we've had a lot of international rugby and even back to the Premiership next week. And we'll go over all of that in this podcast, won't we, Hugh?
Yes, but just before we get into the rugby, a quick bit of admin, an announcement. Last week I was on the Uneducated Rugby podcast.
You lucky person.
Yeah.
Fame.
Yeah, we are famous now. See that? The podcast is growing. Kieran couldn't make it on.
No, sadly. I was busy.
But I do strongly suggest you go and give that a listen. It was uploaded last Friday, so just before the international. So if you want to hear me get predictions completely wrong and struggling a really difficult quiz, by the way, like that was really harsh, the quiz question.
Yeah,
but
you told me.
I'll leave that for you to go and listen to.
Yeah, so check out the Uneducated Rugby podcast. It's on Spotify, I'm sure, all the streaming services, same as ours. Uneducated Rugby. They're also on TikTok, so just go check them out.
And go follow them. They were very nice to talk to, very knowledgeable, and they, if you're more interested in,
So you're saying they're very educated? Maybe they should change the name.
Yeah. Well, we say we talk absolute nonsense about the rugby, but I don't think we do.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
some of our opinions.
Yeah. Anyway,
quick disclaimer.
But if you want, they mainly focus on the URC. So if you're more interested in that, then after you've listened to ours, listen to theirs. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into what was a fabulous weekend of rugby.
It was wonderful. It was. I feel this Autumn Nations series, I keep calling it the Autumn Nations Cup, the Autumn Nations series has really treated us this year.
It's been
great.
The
fixture list, I think, for a start, has been really strong.
The Saturday fixture list was just...
Yeah. Whew. And we've said this most weeks, like, there's not many weeks where it's been a bad fixture list, and every week there's big games to look forward to, games you want to see and you don't usually see. I can't remember the last, because it used to be, of course, just autumn internationals that were games as exciting almost as this.
But these games have been something else. But if we get probably the one we don't really want to talk about out of the way, Italy, Uruguay. Italy ends their 16-match winless run.
Oy.
And pull off a 17-10 win against Uruguay.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. I've caught up with the highlights. I was too busy watching a Scotland-Japan game. But I must say, from the highlights, you look like Uruguay's defence was actually quite strong.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I even though Italy do lose a lot, I would have expected them to win by more in that game.
Uruguay are firmly a tier 2 nation, whereas Italy are
they're meant to be a tier 1.
Well, too good for tier 2 nations, not yet good enough for tier 1 nations.
You would think every nation in the Six Nations should be a tier 1. So that's where they should...
I mean, Italy just fall in that awkward category.
Yeah, they do.
Which, by the way, is an interesting game in that category this weekend. Fiji against Georgia. Finished 15-all.
Well,
that's a good result for Georgia. That's
incredible
result
for Georgia, actually.
I mean, I think...
Considering that Fiji challenged Wales, of course.
Yeah. And go back to the World Cup in 2019, I think that finished like 45-5 to Fiji. So...
It's impressive
really
improvement.
Good. Yeah. I think it's just clear. What we need in the autumn is a tournament between the too good for tier 2, not yet good enough for tier 1 nations. You know, Italy, Japan, Fiji, Georgia. I reckon that'd be quite interesting.
Why don't they do something around the Six Nations time?
Well, because Italy playing the Six Nations.
Yeah, but
you got the rugby you got the rugby Europe or
that's not
whatever it's called.
Really.
Yeah, and Georgia have won the Grand Slam in the past 4 seasons.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, honestly, Uruguay, Italy win. Uruguay did look actually quite good, quite promising though. So fair play, Uruguay. I don't really know.
Not much more to say.
No, not really. But if we move on then to what was the curtain raiser to a great day of rugby, Scotland-Japan, finishing 29-20 to the Scots.
It is actually closer than I expected again, because you look at Japan and you look at their result against Ireland.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have guessed that they've sort of got a dip in form this year.
Yeah.
But, I mean, and Scotland, they gave... Was it South Africa?
South Africa, a good game.
They gave them a really solid...
And they beat Australia, of course.
Yeah, so I would have expected Scotland to put a fair few points on Japan. With that said, Scotland... I don't want to say this and just get it completely wrong, but they're not the team to completely roll over teams all the time. Like they're not. I don't see many 50-0s from Scotland.
No, and I must say, Japan were just so enjoyable to watch. They were really fun to watch, as always. But they were actually really fun to watch this time. They were much improved from the Ireland game. They were moving the ball really quickly. It just goes from side to side like that. It just pulls a defensive.
It's wonderful to watch.
It really is enjoyable. And, Japan probably had the better of a lot of the game. And Scotland pull off the win. I feel Japan at points were a bit short in defence.
Yeah, they've never been the strongest defensively.
And they lost the physical battle. Which you sort of
you'd expect. You look at the size of their team compared to every other top team.
But then the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. The forwards' hands are so good. They're so good. I mean, they're like. It's like their pack is all Ty Furlong. Not as good as Ty Furlong, but have the hands of Ty Furlong.
All John Foes in the front.
Yeah. So anyway, Japan, really enjoyable to watch. Scotland, we saw a bit of some magic from Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg, as you expect, and Stuart Hogg became Scotland's record try scorer.
Oh, I mean, I don't really been around for that long, really. I mean,
he's on.
You always think of him as I can't remember a time where he wasn't in the squad, but
he's been playing international since 2012.
Yeah,
so he's got over 80 caps, I think.
Yeah,
and he's now Scotland's record try scorer, which hasn't.
As a fullback, though, you don't see fullbacks scoring.
No, you don't.
Not like wingers. You'd always expect a winger to be the top try scorer.
Yeah, well, he broke a record that's been standing for 88 years.
Yeah.
So, Scotland have been really starved of talent.
Yeah.
Over the past.
Maybe they've just not been able to score tries in general recently.
Stuart Hogg scored 2 tries. Scotland, I would say, building well towards the Six Nations coming up.
You'd have to say.
Yeah. But I
mean, you look at every other team building. Every team seems to be building.
Yeah, definitely.
There's so much. I find this Six Nations is one of the most intriguing for a while.
Oh yeah,
because there's a lot of teams trying new things out, building, coming back into form.
Yeah,
and you can't judge what to expect. Which teams coming more into form, and I'm just really excited to see.
We'll get on to our early Six Nations predictions later. But I don't really know what more there is to say because I really want to talk about the other 3 games on Saturday. But
why don't we move on to them then?
But just to conclude, Scotland, good curtain raiser, but it was not the main event.
No.
Now then, for what?
Which even was, though. There's so many.
Yeah.
So many you could say in the main event.
Yeah, for
but
what
we'll start.
We'll call main event number 1.
Yeah.
A repeat of the 2019 World Cup final as England played the world champion South Africa.
Seeing them off by 1.27 to 26. I mean,
it was such a close, such an intense game.
I'm so sad as an Englishman I only got to catch the last 5 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But that's all I needed to catch.
Yeah.
To just gather the pure tension
in
that game.
One hell of a game.
Yeah.
I must say, England started really strongly, scoring 2 tries in the opening.
That's become common trend with England, actually.
Yeah.
Especially in games they win. They really look for that early score. And I think it's Eddie Jones. I mean, Squidge Rugby's done great analysis on how they're choosing to kick off.
Yeah.
Is a key factor in it, and it's clearly a game plan to get it earlier. I mean, as it is for most teams, but England seem to do it a lot more at an international standard than a lot of teams. You'd have to say, like, compared to your South Africans that will go after the penalties and build that score that way.
Well, the penalties kept them in the game because I'll be honest, that first half England were far better, even in the scrum, which was surprising because that was an inexperienced England front row. Other than
who was it?
Bevan Rodd, Jamie Balmain from Newcastle, and Carl Sinclair.
Big statement from those guys then in the England squad to then put it against South Africa. And
they won a few two scrum penalties in the first half against the South African pack, which is unheard of, by the way. But it was a really strong showing from England first half, but they kept giving away some stupid penalties.
Yeah.
And Andre Pollard in the first half, his boot was very good, and it was able to just keep South Africa in the game. You know,
and it nearly came to cost England until the last minute.
Yes. Do you know what? I actually don't know how England won the game. And I'll tell you why. A lot of people say England were the better team. I think England were actually the better team, but I still think that game could be played 10 times and South Africa win it 9 times out of 10.
Especially with the penalty count and everything.
Yeah, the penalty count. But I want to, in the second half, they bring on the bomb squad, kicks off, Marks and Koch.
You see the fear in that front row's eyes now.
The thing is, they really started to dominate the England pack in the second half. It was hugely physical from the South Africans. From the first scrum they had in the second half, where the English pack just folded, and that tone carried on for the rest of the game.
I mean, and we did say last week having basically the 2 best front rows in the world in one team.
Yeah,
and it's crazy.
Yeah.
Because there's no way another front row.
No,
they can maybe for half of rugby or even a full game go toe-to-toe against the South African side.
Well, but
then you bring on the sub, the bench, fresh legs. They're just going to destroy you every time.
Yeah, but in that second half, South Africa were hugely physical and played very stereotypically South African. And I thought they really started to dominate that England second half physically. Yeah. The thing is, though, Pollard's boot in the second half was off. He missed 6 points, and probably ones you'd expect him to get. And that
would
ends up
ultimately,
costing.
in a game that's just decided by 1 point,
that really ended up costing South Africa.
I'm curious, because I didn't watch the game, because I was playing during the game, sadly, but how did England play? Did they opt for physicality? Did they opt for Marcus Smith magic around them?
I wouldn't say Marcus Smith was too magic, but they did opt to go wide a lot more. Yeah. Particularly when they had it in the second half, because they couldn't compete with South Africa physically.
Yeah.
And Rafi Quirk scored a nice try, which was completely unexpected, I thought, against the run of play. But that put England back in the lead.
I think, though, that might be what you want from Marcus Smith.
Yeah.
Not trying to do magic every time, controlling the play.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he obviously, they beat South Africa, the world champions. He obviously played well enough at an international standard. So, I mean, he's making his claim for that shirt. I mean, with Farrell out, this is his opportunity to really make a statement
and
in
Farrell
that 10 jersey.
Is a doubt for the start of the Six Nations. So.
But is that going to hurt England as much when you've got a Marcus Smith, Rafi Quirk
I was going to say,
combination?
this is a Marcus Smith's real opportunity, especially... if he's out, when it does look like he's a doubt for the Calcutta Cup match in Edinburgh. That would be a huge opportunity for Marcus Smith. Huge game, that.
Yeah.
But until the 78th minute, I still thought South Africa would win it.
Yeah.
They had the 1 point lead, 26... the 2 point lead, 26-24. You had Franz Steyn come on, played very well again, kicked a nice kick from 46 metres to put them in the lead. I still don't understand how South Africa lost.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that about any game if they lose. It's quite hard to
Well, no, because I even think England were the better team.
Yeah.
But I still don't know how they won it.
Because South Africa is so efficient with their points as well. They don't have to play... They've come with a game, they don't have to play amazing rugby or play... massively better. They're just so good at getting points.
Yeah.
And eventually, I mean, at the end of the day, points win the game. But
but I must say there were some huge performances in the South Africa team. Eden Etzebeth was on it again.
Yeah.
Played really well.
He caused a lot of trouble at the line out, I saw.
As always, he did. As always, my personal World Player of the Year, Sia Khaleesi, was on it. I still can't get how England won it, because it was a really stupid penalty from Herschel Yankees that gave England the advantage. And then Franz Steyn comes running off his feet to give it in a much more kickable position.
Yeah, and that's such a silly penalty.
Yeah, because the position Yankees gave it in, it was not a gimme. It was a very difficult kick.
Marcus Smith he's not known for his kicking specifically.
No, I mean he's a very good
competent kicker, obviously.
Yeah, but he's not. When you think if Owen Farrell steps up, you think it's 3 points here. If Dan Biggar steps up for Wales, you think that's 3 points, probably regardless of where it is on the pitch, even if it's on the touchline. Marcus Smith, you don't get that. So it was really silly from Franz Steyn. I think he just runs into it too quickly. He forgets to slow down before trying to.
Thing is that things like that happen at a lot of rucks as well. That
doesn't happen at every ruck.
That
doesn't happen at a lot of rucks.
Maybe I'm getting confused with international level and my level I play.
Well, he's running in from like 10 meters out to try and get there to compete and get the turnover.
Yeah.
But he just seems to forget to slow down until he runs into the England players who are rucking over.
Yeah.
Then Marcus Smith kicks over, and from the restart, Etzebeth takes out the England player in the air. And that's the game right there. And you know what?
A lot of people debating that decision. I think it's pretty clear cut.
Yeah. I want to say Freddie Stewart, another very, very good game at fullback.
Yeah.
Very good game at fullback.
Another one making his claim for the jersey with... England, they're struggling for a solid fullback.
With Freddie Stewart, they got it.
Exactly.
And you got to think...
He's what we've needed.
Yeah, especially with like the players coming through now as well. You got Max Malins, who's also a very good fullback. You got George Furbank, who's very capable there.
Yeah.
You got Elliot Daly's still a good player.
But
he's not.
I feel they've always been there. It's just whether Eddie's been willing to pick them.
Well,
and now he seems willing to pick them.
Whoa! Freddie Stewart is 20 years old. Has he always been there? He's only come through.
I don't mean these specific players. I mean general options around the pitch.
Yeah. But I don't see how anyone can take that fullback shirt from Freddie Stewart after the autumn he's had.
Yeah.
Which same for Max Malins. But you know what? Because it's been interesting how they've gone with the 6-2 split on the bench this autumn.
Yeah.
And Max Malins is the perfect player for a 6-2 split.
He's such a utility.
Yeah, he can,
10 fullback wing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure he can play centre as well. Outside.
But even so, you'd have players who can fill in there anyway. So Max, if Eddie Jones does continue for the 6-2 split, then
I mean, if it's working for him now, I don't see why he wouldn't.
No.
Considering he's all about utility backs, I mean, you think of, say a centre gets injured, you use all your backs, who you put there? Eddie Jones, I'm sure he'd be happy putting, say, Tom Curry there.
Yeah. Well, I'd have Sam Simmons there.
Sam Simmons, yeah, definitely.
Moment, you know? But yeah, England pulling off a really good win for them against the Springboks.
It's a real statement as well, I feel.
Real statement.
Because now you look at it, and after beating the Lions, you've had Wales come extremely close to beating South Africa.
Yeah.
More closer than, I would argue, the Lions, and more competitive than the Lions.
The Lions won the first test.
Yeah.
But they only lost the second test by 3 points.
Yeah. And then you have England beat South Africa.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm starting to think that individual nations in an aspect, because of the time around each other and the training camps they've got, always have more of an opportunity than say the Lions.
And the players say that as well every time. But I
mean, I love the Lions tour, don't get me wrong.
Of course.
I would rather have a Lions tour every 4 years than more internationals in that summer. I love the Lions.
But I don't know where I'm going to go with this. I lost my thought for the sentence. Look, South Africa are the world champions for a reason.
Yeah.
And the fact that I still think they should have won that game is...
I mean, and they're still an extremely strong side, and they're giving us competitive games. Probably the most competitive games we've seen this autumn have been with against South Africa.
Yeah. I think, the next World Cup is going to be the most competitive ever. Yeah. Because
definitely you can't. I mean, especially this Six Nations, you can't predict.
No.
And the World Cup, you really have no clue who's going to be the strong team going into that World Cup.
No, but the way all the big nations are building right now, it's going to be one hell of a competition.
It feels like rugby is back home with all the big nations there. Yeah. But we should move on.
We should move on
to Wales v Australia. So 29-28 at the Principality.
That was That was very tense.
On our TikTok, you can get a live reaction of Hugh reacting to the last minute kick.
To Reece Priestland's 82nd minute penalty. Right then, I'll kick off with this.
Good pun.
Yeah. Was it a red card?
Remind me of what it was.
Valentini, head on head.
Oh yeah. I think yes. It's a head-on-head collision.
I agree.
He's leading with his head. The tackler's duty is to not make head contact.
Yeah.
He's making a. There's no mitigating circumstances.
No.
It's head on head. And yes, it's a head collision. But you can't write off a tackler's head collision as it's an accidental head collision because their duty is to get their head on the right side of the tackler.
Yeah.
Or the correct side of the tackle.
Yeah.
And if they don't, and body height as well. If you're that high and that far on your technique's that wrong, it's dangerous. It's with force. I mean, I played at the weekend. I had a head collision with one of my teammates.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not going to get me a red card.
No.
But it's still dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
My teammate had to go off with concussion checks because he felt dizzy and could hardly get out.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. He could be concussed.
Yeah.
Luckily, I played on. Don't worry, I'm fine.
You warrior.
No, but it's dangerous and it's a red card in my opinion any day of the week.
Yeah,
and I'm
agree.
glad the laws have changed in a way that understand it's the tackler's responsibility to make the tackle safe.
Yeah, I agree. But Australia started the game really well. Try early on through Andrew Callaway. It was a well-worked try.
I loved laughing at you in the group chats.
Yeah.
But no, they started well. I looked away and suddenly Australia scored. It's like amazing start, and then I have to say, like sort of gifting Wales back in with the red cards.
Yeah,
and
Kirby
like
Bill deliberate knock on.
Yes, it's like.
But even with the red card, Australia played very well.
Yeah.
Wales struggling a bit, but went into half time. Wales 16, Australia 13. But if we move on to the second half, and what happened early on in the second half is the Nick Tompkins try.
Yes.
What do you make of that try?
I'll be honest, I can't quite remember it.
Do you rate the knock down that went backwards?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one to criticise refereeing decisions.
I mean, Dave Rennie is, but it's weird because
there's some bizarre decisions made these days.
Yeah.
And it seems when everyone externally sees it's not a try, because it was a knock-on.
Well, it was a knock-on. It went backwards. How can it be a knock-on if it goes backwards?
Well, maybe I'm remembering a different point in the game, I think.
What do you mean you're remembering it differently? It was the try Nick Tompkins scored where he knocked it down. Australia about a 4-man overlap.
Oh, yeah.
Right at the start of the second half, like the 45th
What's the
minute or
controversy
something.
around it?
Well, because he slapped it down.
Yeah, but if it goes backwards.
Yeah, but surely you remember it. It wasn't convincing that it went backwards. I'm looking through this through the most rose-tinted glasses out there. I'm incredibly biased.
But in the background.
Yeah, I am incredibly biased, and I was shocked that the try was given. But Mark Adminson said the ball went backwards, but it's just really negative play because he doesn't make any attempt to catch the ball.
Yeah.
He slaps it down. He is lucky that it goes backwards because if he sees that another way, Mark Adminson, I forgot his name, but the referee, then he's definitely going to the bin, Nick Tompkins.
Oh, yes, this one.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, it was really bizarre because he thought it went forward.
Well, everyone did, but that's why he plays with the whistle.
But no, I think it's pretty. It's like when you say a flat pass, I benefit of the doubt. I think it goes flat downwards.
Yeah, but the problem is, a lot of the time they give the benefit of the doubt to the attacking team. Nick Tompkins there is the defensive team.
Half the time it goes backwards when they rule it deliberate knock on.
Well, so no, half the time it doesn't.
Yeah,
but it was weird.
It's clear he was attempting to be cynical there.
Yeah, but it's a grey area. Grey area. Rugby's not a black and white game.
It's a risk, and he's taken it. And I think
honestly,
it's such a 50-50 decision.
If he needs to do it and take the yellow because they got about a 4-on-1 on the wing.
They're in their own half.
Yeah, they're in their half.
Your defence should be able to scramble. You have a fullback.
I don't know. It's a 4-on-1. They make a nice break.
Yeah.
you're probably left with a 2-on-1 against the fullback, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Because the wing is out of it, everyone else is out of it. You're not expecting forwards.
But do you risk a yellow card for that?
Yeah, because otherwise they score. If it would just be taking one for the team.
Yeah.
Even that far out, I'd have backed Australia to score from that.
But, I mean, backwards to refereeing, I think if that's what the referees decide, you have to back them to be more neutral than me, a fan, is going to be.
And it's about playing to the whistle again, because everyone just stopped. Play to the whistle.
That's the thing. I think, and it's so marginal as well. You can't just assume it's gone forward from a slap down.
No. Well, most of the time it does, but still, play to the whistle.
My initial reaction was it went backwards. I remember now.
Yeah.
And maybe it was so close I couldn't call it on the replays.
Yeah.
And I got to go on by how the referee is
anyway,
these days. You have to go.
The TMO backed up the referee's decision, and the try was given. I want to talk about now the Welsh yellow card. Gareth Thomas, the replacement prop, goes in at the ruck for some stupid reason. I don't get why he does it. It is an unbelievably stupid thing to do.
Yeah,
it's so idiotic. Yellow given. Now there's controversy on that and whether or not it should have been a red.
Yeah.
Now, again, I am very biased and looking through this through very rose-tinted glasses. But the exact same thing happened in the Scotland-Australia game, and it was given a yellow.
Yeah, consistency is always
there
good.
was not high force.
It was with a swinging arm, wasn't
it? Yes, it's unbelievably stupid. But the precedent's been set that it's a yellow, and that's been consistently followed. So, yes, I may be talking utter crap or poppycock this week because I'm incredibly biased, but I do think it's just a yellow.
No, I think for me, it's like it's technically a swinging arm, but there's not much. There wasn't a massive amount of. It was almost like a glancing blow for me.
No,
by the letter of the book, I think it is a red card.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it was the worst yellow card I've ever seen. No. I think a yellow is a fairly fitting because I think you can say it's an attempt to wrap and it's one of those 50-50 decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know why he's going in like that anyway. For a start,
that's so stupid. He deserves to be sent off for just doing it because it's so stupid.
And I think his direction, where he's aiming, is more where his shoulder is. He's not aiming to hit the guy with his arm.
Yeah.
But he does. It could give it red, could give it yellow.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, it's up to how the ref sees it and interprets it. That's at the end of the day what it is. Mm. So I'm not going to complain about that.
Sorry, just while we're talking about a Welsh prop. I really fear for this Welsh pack because I don't think it's good enough.
Your scrum's quite weak.
The front five. The thing is, I just don't think the front five are good enough.
Yeah.
I mean, but then again, they're the best we have. Bar Ken Owens and Alan Wynne-Jones who are injured.
Yeah.
But I think that Wales have the worst front five in the Six Nations. And probably the worst front five out of any tier 1 nation. Because they're not dynamic, they're not great with their hands.
Yeah, and they're not even quality scrummagers.
No, they just sort of plop about, but they can't even plop about properly.
Yeah.
And it's a real shame because I think the Welsh backs are looking very good. And by the way, I thought Halahona and Tompkins had very good games in the centres. And I was really happy with the team Wales put out. Especially seeing Nick Tompkins in that 13 shirt and Halahona, who was playing like a 12 because for too long we just have crash ball 12s. But it was. I thought the centres were really good.
I mean, that's why I was when you have Warren Gatland.
But don't crap on Warren Gatland.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Say sorry to the grog and the book.
So for those listening, Hugh has a grog and a book of Warren Gatland.
Yeah.
A grog being basically a figurine of him in his local shrine.
Yeah.
No, that's not a criticism of Warren Gatland. That's just his style of play.
Yeah, and it does work. But it's good to see. But the way Wayne, and as well, the back row, I still like. I still think it's very good. And I said this on the Uneducated Rugby podcast about Ellis Jenkins. So how Alan Wynne-Jones is God.
To you,
yeah, or to everyone because he is.
To you.
In my eyes, that makes Ellis Jenkins Jesus. And I went on with this on the Uneducated Rugby podcast. I actually think he's a bit better than Jesus, and I'll tell you why. because I actually do think that Ellis Jenkins can turn water into wine. I mean, he can perform miracles. We've seen that with some of his turnovers, particularly against South Africa. But I highly doubt that Jesus would have had the hands or breakdown intelligence of Ellis Jenkins, okay? So Ellis Jenkins is better than Jesus.
We'll see.
The thing is, I like our back row, and Tane Basham got man of the match. Very well deserved. He's had a very good autumn, and it's great to see us building for when Tipbrick
very fitting for Hugh's fantasy team name. Tane's gonna bash him.
Yeah. Well, he's got a great rugby name.
He does.
It's onomatopoeia. It's onomatopoeia. Basham.
Like the commentator says his name, Basham. Is he describing what he's going to do with the name? What?
But even so, over the breakdown, he was great. Got some crucial turnovers. But the back row, I really, really like. It's just the front five, I'm not a fan of. And like someone like Adam Beard, who has had a good early year, and he was good when he came on the Lions tour, had a very poor autumn.
Yeah.
I think it's nothing to speak. It's just a sort of little dip in form. It's not something to be too concerned about. But
hopefully you have some young players.
Well, the thing is, we got nobody really stepping up for that second row. I mean, when Alan Wynne-Jones goes, which, let's be honest, he's not got long left, I think he's going to struggle to make it to the next World Cup.
Well, he's getting injured more and everything.
But
can someone who's been out for that long for now fit in as captain?
Yes, he can. Do not criticise Alan Wynne-Jones. That is blasphemy, Kieran. It's blasphemy. Look, I don't see anyone stepping up in the second row. I mean, who partners Adam Beard?
It's like no one's making any statements there.
Well, the thing is, I like Will Rowlands, but I don't think him and Adam Beard play well together. I don't think they're great in the second row. Seb Davis filled in the second row this week, and I like to see him get more game time, but I didn't see anything too special from him. And then on the front row, they're just... I mean, Wynne-Jones... He's actually a good scrummager, a decent scrummager, but other than that, I don't see much from him. I don't think his carries are that good. His hands are average. Ryan Elias, who had a good game against South Africa and Fiji, but a pretty poor one against Australia, I thought. Not massive fan of him. I don't see him as Wales' hooker going forward. I see it as Elliot D, who was sadly injured this autumn, but I'd like to see him because I'm quite a big fan of Elliot D.
This is very interesting though, because on the Uneducated Rugby podcast, you took a very much more positive approach to Wales.
Yeah, because hold on, I'm going to get to positives in a second. I'll get to positives when we talk about the end of the game, the bit where Wales ended up winning, okay, and looking forward to the future. But I'm taking a negative one now because I'm just talking about front five. Thomas Francis, I've never seen him as that good a player in all honesty, but there's nobody better than him.
Yeah.
So look, the way Wayne Pivac wants to play as well, he needs dynamic forwards with good hands. He just doesn't have that. I just don't think our front five is good enough, and it's a shame because our back row's excellent. Our backs are great as well.
Yeah, and the front five is such a key difference as well.
The front five are the very foundations of any team.
And when you play your South Africa's, even any top tier team, if you're struggling in that top five...
Spilt my beer, sorry.
You just spilled beer all over the front of him.
But yeah.
That's booze dodging if I've ever seen it. Spill it down you instead of
you. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Welsh front five at the moment, and I don't really see it improving before the World Cup.
I mean, the players will surely improve. They'll get more experience.
Well, our front row is experienced. It's our second row that isn't, but they're still...
front five, I mean.
They're still, I don't think...
They're all a whole unit, though. They've got to really work together.
Exactly.
And you'd hope they'd be, maybe individually, not the most amazing things, but as a pack, they could operate.
But maybe, you know what, I just think we need to bring in Adam Jones as forwards coach. He's done a great job at Quins. You know, we brought in Gethin Jenkins as defence coach and he sorted out our defence.
Bringing Alan Wynne-Jones as a...
Well, Alan Wynne-Jones is still playing, Kieran. He's still playing! I won't take this. Bringing in Adam Jones as a forwards coach.
I think maybe he should take a John Afoa type role. Player coach.
Kieran, this is blasphemy. He's not done yet.
John Afoa's not done yet at Bristol.
Well, has he played this season?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he is actually. I can't remember which game.
Well, exactly.
But I think the last Bristol game I went to, I'm pretty sure Big John Afoa was starting.
But anyway, he still is Alan Wynne-Jones.
Yeah.
He's still got a lot to give.
And I must, so the viewers don't get a different perspective, I do admire Alan Wynne-Jones as a quality player.
As does everyone.
I just have a differing opinion to Hugh of how, just to the extent of how good he is.
He's basically God, and there's no other opinion.
But we've spent a while on Wales, Australia.
No, we haven't got to the end yet. We haven't talked about the bit where Wales win. Sorry, I'm going to go on about Wales for a lot now. Anyway, Australia fight their way back into it, and then you think, oh my god, PTSD 2012. Kurtley Beale looks to have won it with a kick from 45 metres.
Yes.
Oh my god, I wanted to cry. I'm going to need to go to therapy.
And
again.
my laughter was.
But Wales come back.
They do.
We get a penalty, and in the year of the return of fly halves, a 88-year-old Reece Priestland knocks over the winning penalty in the 82nd minute to make sure Wales beat Australia for the third time in the row. And considering we're between 2008 and 2018 without beating them, we didn't beat them for 10 years. This feels good.
Reece Priestland as well.
Reece Priestland.
I mean, when I think of that name, it always brings me back to Bristol v Bath in the first time we got promoted recently.
Yeah.
When we beat Bath 12-11 because Reece Priestland missed a kick in almost a mirror position of where it was at the weekend. So
look, Reece Priestland, fair play for his comeback. He got booed off the pitch in his 2014 against Australia. Anyway, we owe him all a big apology. So thank you, Reece. Thank you, Reece, very much.
You hear it from me. Yeah, thank you.
Anyway, I'm going to talk about positives for Wales now, because I think I need to. I think there are the foundations of a very good game plan. I like Wales' attack. I think we're building nice squad depth, particularly in the centres now. I think there's a lot to be positive about for Wales. I think last World Cup cycle, we were in a worse position.
I think so as well.
Well, in 2017, we came 5th in the Six Nations.
Yeah.
We got battered by New Zealand.
Yeah.
With our first team out. We got battered by Australia like 32-7 or something. And we beat what was at the time a very, very poor South Africa side. We also...
the one that had lost to Japan.
Yeah, we also really struggled against Georgia, only beating them 13-6.
Yeah.
So... compare that to how we are now at the same point in this World Cup cycle. Six Nations champions.
It's not Grand Slam, don't get.
Six Nations champions.
It's getting into a heated episode.
So a lot of positive take from the New Zealand game, where we put out an understrength team.
And it wasn't horrible.
No, it wasn't awful. It was 24-16 up until the 60th minute that game.
Considering the squad you had, it was very promising.
Coming very, very close against a world champion Springbok side. And then beating our two opponents in the World Cup pool stages.
Yeah.
Particularly Australia, by the way. So in honesty, I think the foundations there are there for Wales.
I feel they're building from a slightly lower point than the other some of the other teams you see for the World Cup.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Compared to how they've been for previous years, but they've definitely got something to build on there.
I mean, I think,
and there's a lot of positives to take. The first World Cup for Pivac.
Yeah, I doubt it will be his. I doubt he'll do more than one World Cup, Kieran. But there are the foundations there of Pivac's game plan. And there's certainly a lot to build on for Wales, but I've gone on about Wales for long enough, and I do have more to say, but this podcast will end up being 8 hours and
we can spread it across all the weeks.
So anyway, moving on then to one of the best games of rugby I've ever watched.
It was not what I expected, but also completely what I expected. It was like completely mad and crazy, but I didn't expect it to be the game it was. It was so back and forth. It wasn't like a two teams struggling to score. It was one team scoring too much, then the other scoring too much, and then some crazy mad shit from Ntamak. And
can we just take a minute to just appreciate Ntamak? His try for a start was excellent, the way he sells the defence, and then that bloody from his own goal line. And the score at that point is 27-25.
Yeah.
He has no right to do what he did.
But I'm thinking of it, I'm almost speechless with what the hell. Just thinking of it, seeing the image of Ntamak 5 metres into his own dead ball line doing that. Yeah. And it's criminal it didn't end up in a try. Absolutely criminal.
Possibly the greatest try never scored.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It really falls short that with a 3-on-1 or a 3-on-2 on the outside, that it's a second row Wocky that gets the ball.
Yeah.
And he decides to run it. It should have gone out. But even then, Ardi Sarvia kills it, gets a yellow card.
Yeah.
Ardi Sarvia stopped one of the greatest strikes of all time.
And for that, I mean...
But how good was Ntamack?
He was incredible. He was really just solid. He had flair as well, and he maybe a bit too much crazy. But I mean, I love watching it. I will choose to watch that any day. It was, and it's just like they seemed in control, but out of control.
Yeah,
all the time. Their style of play, it was like they were just doing out of control stuff, but in a perfectly controlled manner.
Oh yeah.
This is a calculated way we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And it clearly worked to beat New Zealand.
Yeah.
Can we just talk quickly about the first, what I think is a key moment in the game, like right at the beginning, well, it secures France territory, and that bizarre kick from Barrett.
Geordie Barrett did not have his best game.
He really didn't, and I still think if he didn't kick that ball, literally give them a 5-metre line out in that first week, that game could have had a very different complexion to it.
Yeah.
Because France don't establish early dominance. They don't have this thing. If they clear that to like the 50-metre line, it's a completely different scenario.
Yeah.
You force France to play something less crazy.
Yeah.
And there you go. But I mean, that was a really bizarre kick for me. But
yeah,
he really just didn't have a he just seemed like he didn't want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's been a long time on the road for New Zealand.
Yeah.
But even so, look, Ntamack, I just can't get over how good Ntamack was. Dupont was at his usual best. The way he gets, how quickly he arrives at the break.
The amount of players in this French team, especially their halfbacks, are just...
Yeah, and I thought Dante at inside centre had a great game.
Yeah.
Great game. And you know what? I said this all of last week, and this has reassured it to me. One of them both, I don't think Jalibert and Ntamack can play at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, this week, though,
because this French team had so much more balance to it than they did against Georgia or Argentina. It just had so much more balance.
Yeah, when you have Jalibert and Ntamack, it's almost like a competition of who could do the most crazy shit.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, it's not like you have a bad replacement at fly half then. But then it's about who claims that starting jersey.
Yeah. But Ntamack, if he plays like that, surely.
Yeah, but then I think Jalibert would have had an equally good game if he played. You really can't pick between the two. It is
no, but that's the thing. They've got to pick between one of the two, and they've got to establish. I feel this is your starting. Just get some structure there.
Yeah.
With Ntamack, have Jalibert. He can maybe instead of playing the last 20 minutes, have him play the last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of 20. Or maybe, I wouldn't go to a half each because that just disrupts the game too much. But something like that. And it's always a good... Say Ntamack isn't working against someone, you can bring on a perfectly capable Jalibert.
Yeah, and the thing is, if one gets injured, then you've got one hell of a replacement to bring on.
Yeah.
So, you know what? This must be a massive selection headache for the French coaching team of Fabien Galtier.
I wouldn't be surprised they're putting names in a hat at this point and pulling them out.
But you know what? It's a selection issue I'd like to have. Any coach would like to have.
And it's a nightmare for my fantasy team because if I don't look at the squads, I would never know whether Ntamack is starting, whether Jalibert is starting. No clue. And I couldn't choose between the two.
No, exactly. You can't because they're also really similar players.
Yeah,
it's anyway.
It's not like one's going to suit the All Blacks, one's going to suit.
Anyway, Pinot had a great game on the wing again, and that intercept he got because New Zealand had numbers on the. It
was key. Yeah, it was really key.
I mean, that killed the game.
It really sealed it, I think.
It was 30-25 before that.
Yeah, so it really did.
It took the game away from New Zealand and it stopped them from making a break. And the quality New Zealand have, you back them to get some points at the end of that break.
And one thing I felt with New Zealand is, I will say, the first half, I don't think I'd seen them dominated like that since England in the World Cup semi-final.
Yeah, they were not good.
I said this in our group chat, and I did not. That was not something I'm used to seeing New Zealand feel. And then I felt the second half, they weren't playing incredible rugby. They went back to the ways they knew. I thought they were playing rugby from 2 years ago, but they were playing it to an extremely high standard.
Because it's New Zealand and the natural
and that's
talent
what they knew.
have.
But I didn't feel they were playing the groundbreaking new skills, the thing that we've seen from many teams. So I feel they were playing rugby from 2 years ago, but they were doing it very well.
Well, I don't get how Ian Foster was nominated for Coach of the Year. Because he is actually a really unimaginative coach.
Yeah.
I mean, that New Zealand team...
Well, I didn't see anything new in that team.
No, it doesn't exactly play...
Play-wise.
The thing is, if you're looking at the intricacies of it, they don't play great rugby.
No, they just play it very well.
The natural talent to play very, very good rugby.
Yeah.
But if, say, Wales played like that, or England played like that. If England played like that, Eddie Jones's head would be on a stick right now.
Oh yeah, even if they won that game, even with the first.
England would not have won that game if they played like that against France. They would have got slaughtered.
Yeah,
it's just that New Zealand have the natural talent to play very, very simplistic rugby at a very, very high standard.
As I said, it's like they hadn't evolved. That second half, their rugby style was almost exactly like I've seen it for the past... I would even go 4 years.
Well, the thing is,
it's not evolved, a New Zealand style. Like you see an England style, it's evolved. A French style, it's evolved.
The Welsh style has evolved.
Every style seems to have evolved and made it better. New Zealand just going back... I mean, fair play. I think if they played like that for the whole game, maybe... they would have.
Yeah, but even so, it's not great rugby they're playing.
No,
they're just very, very naturally
They're just
talented.
playing it very well, and
and the thing is, they've had big wins this year against an understrength Tonga, an understrength USA, an understrength Wales.
Yeah,
that they are papers over the cracks for New Zealand.
Yeah,
and honestly, Ian Foster's contract is up for review this Christmas.
Yeah, with it, there is still a good time for them.
I'm going to be surprised if he keeps his job. In all honesty,
I was saying at this point they've got the players to, regardless of the coach, they're capable of executing a game plan well, or just playing rugby. I'm sure you could just get all those players no game plan and say you're playing this team at the weekend. They would give a lot of teams a good run for their money.
They would beat most teams. That's just they just have the natural talent, but they're not actually playing good rugby.
No,
and I honestly will be surprised if Ian Foster keeps his job.
Yeah, I would as well, because it's not like you think of what the All Blacks in recent times. You think ruthless dominance.
But they played entertaining rugby as well.
Yeah,
they played innovative rugby, and they don't have that at the moment. And they're like Canada, the All Blacks at the moment. They play really basic, simplistic rugby. Yeah, that is actually not great. It's just that New Zealand have the talent to make it.
And I think the basicness of it is what made me think this is old. This is not modern. The modern way rugby's going, because rugby has, you look at it, it's evolved a lot in the last few years with this way it's going. But I mean,
the thing is, the New Zealand job is a desirable job because you basically are guaranteed to win a trophy, i.e. the Rugby Championship, because they just have the natural talent to just take them there anyway. And then it's the actual sort of intricacies of an actual game plan that would make them win a World Cup.
But it's such a high... That said, it doesn't mean it's an easy job, because then to take the All Blacks to the next level, you've got to be a very, very good, very smart coach.
Yeah, but I'd look at it right now and I'd think... Obviously, Scott Robinson from the Crusaders.
Yeah.
I don't get why they didn't hire him up before Ian Foster. Warren Gatland, he's at the Chiefs now.
I don't think he...
Well, you talk about Warren Gatland has an excellent game plan that wins matches.
New Zealand.
You couple that with the natural talent of New Zealand...
See, I don't think it's a game plan that capitalises on the natural strength of the New Zealand.
But Warren Gatland is a very innovative coach who uses a lot of analysis to create a game plan, and that's what New Zealand don't have. They don't have a game plan.
Don't get me wrong. I don't doubt if he went to New Zealand and coached New Zealand, they'd win
a World Cup. They'd win the World Cup.
But I still think there would be a better coach for New Zealand.
I don't think there is, but I have a deep-rooted love for Warren Gatland.
I know you do.
So then,
as I look
but then I'd look at obviously
Scott
Robinson, but Jamie Joseph, the Japan coach, can you imagine his game plan with New Zealand?
That's basically Japan with more skill,
more physicality,
more strength, more physical size.
Yeah.
Just, I'd love to see it. I don't know if it will work out.
I would work.
I would love to see it.
It would work.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, exactly. But look, I'd be surprised if Ian Foster is New Zealand coach at the next World Cup.
Yeah, I would as well. I think we can both agree on that one.
Yeah.
There's better. I mean, even if we differ on the type of coach, that would be better. We both agreed there is many coaches that would be better.
Yeah. But anyway, shall we move on? Because this is taking a while and we still got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, I think this next game, though...
We can get through it quickly.
It's not much to talk about with
quickly, Lavanini red card, obvious red card.
I mean, he gets one every game, it's fine.
Yeah, but it was an obvious red card.
It's Lavanini, anything. Yeah. He's going to get one every game, so...
Ireland looking very good.
Yeah.
The most striking thing from that game, though, is Colin Murray is no longer Ireland's starting 9.
Yeah.
Gibson Park is. Colin Murray is too slow at the breakdown. He takes too long to get it away. He stands there and he ponders for a bit. Whereas with Gibson Park, you saw against New Zealand, he'd get there in a second and it'd be straight out.
Yeah.
And Casey came off the bench and he did that as well. But Ireland building really strong. Ty Furlong, great again, by the way. I mean, there's all this talk about who's going to replace Sexton at 10. Just skip to, having Furlong there.
Yeah, I mean, I that would be very entertaining.
Yeah, but hey, look, we're skipping over this because Argentina were just very, very disappointing. I mean,
Ireland is very strong as well.
Yeah, but the first 20 minutes Ireland weren't great. Argentina scored a very nice try, and also I'm trying to think. Oh yeah. Boffelli missed 2 very easy kicks. Yeah. And then the winger makes that break and he drops the ball just before the line. And it's like Argentina shat themselves when they got very close to scoring points. Yeah. But in the end, it was a very disappointing Argentina performance. Ireland took 20 minutes to get going, but once they got going, there was no stopping.
I mean, Ireland look very, very dominant these days.
Yeah, so ran over that quickly. We would talk about this more in depth, but we are running out of time. So...
Yeah,
I want to get on to early because the 6th. Now that's over. I'm just looking forward to the next bit of international rugby,
Six Nations,
which is in Sherentry 3 days. Maybe less than that. Maybe less than that when this comes out on Wednesday because once again we're recording this on Monday. The 6 Nations. So I'm going to ask you this: early 6 Nations predictions. Who's finishing 6th?
Italy,
yeah, I agree. Who's finishing 5th? See, this is going to get interesting because all 5 are playing very well.
It's between Scotland or Wales for me, I won't lie.
Go on, who then?
Scotland.
For me, Scotland as well.
Yeah, and then for me, I have to say Wales in 4th.
I think Wales 4th
because they were between Scotland and Wales.
We're building well. But
I think it's going to take you an extra year to get to the standard.
And I think we're going to lose to Ireland in Dublin.
Yeah.
I reckon we'll lose to England at Twickenham.
Yeah.
But I do think we'll beat France and Cardiff.
Yeah.
I also think we'll beat Scotland and Cardiff as well, but, But
now we're on to the top 3.
Right, and gone.
And I'm really... Ireland are really hard to judge for me.
Uh-huh.
Because they've not... I mean, they played the All Blacks.
Yeah.
But... The All Blacks are proving to not be the strongest team this autumn. They've not really played... Who else have they played this autumn convincing to really set a statement? They played Japan. They played Argentina. They're the hardest team for me to make a judgment on.
So you think they'll finish 3rd? In our early predictions?
I think because it's so early and the way I can actually see England and France building more.
Yeah.
I'm going to go for Ireland 3rd.
Okay, I'm going to go for England 3rd.
How dare you?
No, but I put Wales 4th, okay? So back off. I'm being very neutral here. I'm not biased at all. Right.
I'm only going... I've only said Ireland because I haven't seen enough of them to really make a judgment, and I can't... For that reason, I can't see them visually building as much as the other team.
Fair enough. Well, I think England 3rd... because while they're building very well and they'll play very well this 6 Nations, I think they'll lose to France in Paris.
Yeah.
And I think Ireland will beat them at Twickenham. I see England it'll be very tight games, and they'll play very well in all of those games. And it's going to be great to see players like French play more, Marcus Swift play more, really building towards the World Cup.
Yeah.
But my prediction is England third. So then, who's second?
England. I think and it's more going, I can't doubt France. I mean, as much as I love England, and I will back them to finish first as an England fan, I will say England can win this Six Nations. I mean, there's 4 teams that can win this Six Nations.
I'd say 5.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm only excluding Wales. So.
Hold off. Scotland are nowhere near Wales.
No. I mean, I'm only winding you up. No, no, I'm excluding Scotland and Italy.
So go on.
No, I think I'd really love to back England, but they've had less time as a squad. Yeah. They've had less time with these players. They've a much less experienced squad in general. Mm-hmm. So I can't back them over France. But as an England fan,
hey, you say
they will give France a really good run.
And you say this, a less experienced England side beat a very experienced South African side on the weekend.
And England's defence looks pretty solid.
Yeah.
If they cut out the stupid penalties and the stupidly high penalty count, that is really going to give France an attacking side not known for taking the points on every occasion. You know, I think that could really come to hurt France. With England's defence as it is. Yeah. So with that said, I think on game plan, England could beat France in an individual game. I think over 5 games, England could fall to other teams other than France. Is what I'm thinking.
So you reckon they'll beat France?
I reckon they could.
Paris.
I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if England beat France, but England then lose to a team like Ireland, Wales, or even Scotland.
Scotland at Murrayfield?
Yeah, even them. So I'd expect them to win 4 out of 5 games, but beating France, but France win.
Okay.
It's weird, but...
So you don't have any wins in a Grand Slam then?
No.
Okay. For me, I think France will finish second.
Interesting.
Yeah, I got a feeling they'll lose to Wales and Cardiff.
So you're backing Ireland to top?
I'm backing Ireland. So go on then. Why are you backing France? No, I'm going to ask you first because I'm proper hosting this. Why are you backing France?
Because I just feel they've been building for the longest time. I feel I feel the World Cup for them wasn't. It was sort of a reset button, I guess. But I see that French team and I see it very formidable, very sort of. I don't want to say dominant, but a force to be reckoned with. It's just, it may be a bit outlandish, but I mean, of course, I've said Ireland I can't really judge too well because I've not seen them too much.
Yeah.
I just see France being in a better position than England are now, playing a similar style of rugby. I just feel France are doing it a bit more clinical, bit better, bit more know what they're doing than England right now.
Okay, I reckon Ireland are going to win it. They won't win the Grand Slam because I reckon...
Why do you think Ireland are going to win it?
Well, first, they won't win the Grand Slam because I reckon they'll lose to France in Paris. I think this autumn, Ireland have been the best team. I think they're definitely, by the way, peaking way too early.
Yes.
But they are coming very close towards their peak, and I think the Six Nations will be their peak. I think right now their game plan is the most complete. Andy Farrell's defence is working well. His attack is functioning very well. Every player knows their job, knows what they're doing, and is playing for the team. Yeah. And we saw that against the All Blacks.
Yeah.
We really did. I think Ireland played the best this autumn. Even against a disappointed Japan side where they absolutely dominated. That was, I think, because Ireland were just very, very good rather than Japan being bad. And against Argentina as well, once they got going, Ireland looked really, really good. And I get Argentina have had a bad year. I really do. But Ireland looked really good. And then against the All Blacks as well, the way they attacked. They need to be more clinical. Against the All Blacks, especially in that first half, they were throwing the kitchen sink at them, but they weren't converting that pressure into points. Yeah. So they need to work on that. But I think Andy Farrell's side are building very, very well, and they're close to their peak. And I actually do struggle to see anyone beating them right now. The only reason I see France beating them is because it's in Paris, and I reckon the French crowd will take a very good French team to a victory against a very good Ireland team. And like, I see Ireland beating Twickenham.
Yeah.
I see them beating Wales in Dublin. I actually feared that game for Wales because this is a good Ireland team.
Yeah.
And we haven't won in Dublin since 2012.
Yeah.
So, but look, in my eyes, right now, Ireland played the best out of anyone this autumn. They're about to peak, and they'll probably win the Six. That's my early prediction. Ireland to win the Six Nations.
The thing is, although I've predicted a different team and different results, and I still can't disagree massively with you.
Yeah.
I think that's the nature of this. You could predict anyone. It would be a reasonable prediction at this point.
No, definitely.
One of 4 or 5 teams. Scotland, I feel you could say an outlandish thing for them to win, but I don't think quite.
No,
they will. But we have hit the hour mark.
Yeah, so we're going to wrap through our last 2 big talking points. Firstly, this happened Wednesday morning, so the podcast's already recorded, about to go out.
But Ford to Sale,
Thoughts?
Interesting, considering how well Leicester are doing, and he's a Leicester boy, but...
You know he's from Sale, though.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
But I just see he was a Leicester boy.
Yeah, but because he came through the Leicester Academy. Yeah. But he was born near Sale.
So, yeah, I mean,
he was linked with Sale back when he was leaving Bath.
I think Sale would suit him very well, I think.
Definitely. I mean, I'm excited to see.
I really, looking at Sale's squad, I really fear them with George Ford.
I mean, I'm thinking about this, Faf de Klerk, George Ford, Manitou Alangi.
Yeah, I'm fearing it.
That's the best of England and the best of South Africa there.
It's an interesting move. It was interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
Of course, Sale lost AJ McGinty to Bristol.
Yeah, and
that too is quite an interesting thing.
Yeah.
We've now got Sheedy, who's on a long-term contract, and AJ McGinty. Sheedy not playing incredibly. Obviously, I'm only covering this now because we didn't cover it when it was announced.
But he's a good player.
But who'd you start off, Sheedy and AJ?
I'd still start Sheedy. Even though AJ's a very good player.
AJ's an incredible player who could really, really suit the Bristol style. Sheedy's out of form. I really don't know what I start.
Sheedy's a long-term contract. AJ's there on a 3-year contract.
Yeah, but Sheedy's will be about the same time by the time AJ gets
That's why I think next season, if Sheedy isn't the starting fly half, I think he'll pack up and go to Wales.
That's the thing, yeah. And are Bristol preparing for that with AJ McGinty? I don't know.
I think so, probably.
Because we could very possibly lose Johan Lloyd and Sheedy to Wales.
Well, if they want to play for Wales, they're going to have to.
Ford to Sale. What's your opinion?
An excellent signing, and as I said, Faf de Klerk, George Ford, Manitou Alangi. Oh my God, that's a rugby orgasm. This of course is all in a lovely triangle. Yeah. Because now you've got Leicester searching for a fly half.
Who do they go for?
The big one, or the big rumoured one, and I'd say probably is Andre Pollard. He's leaving Montpellier at the end of the season. His contract's up.
I can see that happening, especially with Leicester being...
Yeah, they've got a lot of South Africans, Leicester, you know. I reckon Andre Pollard to Leicester's going to happen.
It's
good
pretty
signing
realistic.
for Leicester. Yeah. And I think that will conclude the fly half saga.
It's not really a triangle, though.
No, because
it's a triangle heading to Bristol.
Yeah.
Bristol are the only one that just gains one without losing, really.
Yeah. So, anyway, this weekend we have the return of the Premiership after a few weeks out for the Premiership Rugby Cup, which everybody hates, but it happens anyway. We are back with the Premiership.
Yes.
So, we're not going to really preview the games because we don't really have the time, because I spent too long talking about Wales.
And I'm sure if you listen to the episode before the last one, so episode 4, we've gone over our opinions on each of the teams.
Yeah.
We'll just do a rough thing of which team we're going to win and by how much, and our reasoning.
So, for some reason, there's 4 games on Friday night this week.
Yes, that was weird to me.
It makes sense. Anyway, so let's start with one I'm going to, because unfortunately I'm a season ticket holder there, so I'm obliged to. Bath versus Exeter.
Yes.
Can Bath pull off an upset?
I think Bath are going to do a lot stronger this week, actually.
All right, what's your prediction then?
I still think Exeter are going to win.
Mm-hmm.
I really want this to be a close game, though. I'm going to say by 7 on the dot.
All right, I'm going X by 18, which I actually think is being optimistic. God, it's sad times to be a Bath fan. But anyway, the next Friday night game.
A game I'm going to go to.
Yes, Bristol
hopefully.
Bears versus Northampton Saints. It's my turn to go first on this.
Yes.
I'm struggling to open my bottle, for fuck's sakes. Got it.
Yeah, lovely.
Anyway, my prediction. Bears having a difficult start to this season.
Yeah, but they've picked up a little bit, actually.
Not though. I've liked the way Northampton have started. I'm going to go Saints by 6. Saints by 6. How about, what do you think, Kieran?
I'm a Bristol fan. I've seen our uptake in form. We're getting better.
Yeah.
Are the internationals back this week, though? They'll have a week.
Well, they're back, but it depends if they get selected.
Yeah, a Sinclair. You've got to select him, realistically. But I think I'm going to back Bears. Bears don't win by fine margins. Well, they do a lot, actually, recently.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Bristol Bears by 11.
Bears by 11. Okay, then.
But it's going to be, hear me out, it's going to be like a 44-33 game or something like that.
High scoring.
A high-scoring
Right, then.
game. Like, the leaky defences, I hope not. Because Bristol's defence was really solid against Worcester. But Worcester are shit attack, so
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll move on to, talking of Worcester, Falcons versus Warriors.
Yes, well, it's your turn to go
My
first.
turn to go
this, yeah.
first, so I can keep on rambling about how lacklustre Worcester's attack is and how they're going to score absolutely... Well, they will score some points, because they do manage to score some points. Against Falcons... I can see him scoring a few more points, but I can see Falcons scoring even more than Worcester.
Go on, then.
So I'm going to go Falcons
Yeah.
by... I'm going to go 9.
Okay. I think this is going to be like a really disappointing, boring game.
I mean, 9 is a perfect round score for it to be a penalty fest. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go Falcons by 13. Yeah, Falcons by 13. So that takes us to the 4th Friday night game.
for some bizarre reason.
Which is Wasps against Gloucester. And actually, think
Yeah.
about that. It could be a really good game. That could be really
Could be.
interesting.
Yeah. What's your
'cause
take on this one?
It's at the, what's it called now? The Coventry Building Society Arena or something. I'm probably going to go for a Wasps win. I'm going to go Wasps by 8.
Wasps by 8. So I was also going to go for a Wasps win. Gloucester still don't convince me with the just consistent ability to win games. But I'm going to go Wasps. I want to go with another within 7. Not because this game particularly wants it to be within 7. I just want more close games. I'm going to go Wasps by 6.
Okay then, which that lends us to the only game on Saturday. Who came up with this schedule?
Someone drunk went doing it.
Yeah,
It's like,
clearly. The Saturday game, Quins against Irish. Is it your turn to go first?
it is my turn to go first, and I see Irish not the strongest defence in general, I find. They're Quins.
But then Irish to comeback kings.
No, I think Quins... I mean, Quins are the kings of the second half as well, mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Quins by... It's going to be my highest, I think, by 15.
By 15. You see, that's interesting. I'm going Quins by 19.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep mine closer because I don't want to predict absolute whitewashes.
No.
Just because there's been the 2-week break and I feel teams going to be rusty.
Yeah.
And also other teams are going to be completely up for the challenge.
Yeah.
But that moves us on nicely to
The
Sarries
final
v
game on
Sharks.
Sunday. Sarries on TV again. By the way, BT Sport, there are other teams than Saracens.
And Saracens only have 8 fans anyway, so why are you playing that?
Nobody's going to complain if you don't show them for just 1 week. It is actually ridiculous. They're on TV every week. It's actually really annoying. I want to watch other teams.
Yeah, I mean...
It's boring.
Not like they're playing an exactly exciting brand of rugby.
No, and I don't get, are BT Sport, trying to redeem them because they're still terrible Saracens.
Exactly.
They broke the rules. They cheated.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway.
BT Sport, there are other teams.
What's your prediction there? That's all that matters, DP. What's your prediction?
I'm going to go out there, Sharks by 1.
Oh.
Yeah. That's more because I want that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you've done me. I was going to predict Sharks as well.
Oh, okay.
But I'm going to go Sarries now.
All right, then.
By 4.
Sarries by 4. So,
Because I don't see those teams creating a massive gap. But
all right, then. So we'll see how those games go this weekend.
But now we have the time of the week where we make the most ridiculous opinions and predictions you'll ever
Can
hear.
we move this down to just one prediction? Because otherwise we're going to run out of them if we do 2 every week.
Yeah, sure.
And let's be honest, it takes us a while to think of them, you know?
It does. I still haven't thought anything of...
No. But for me, I am going to go that we will see at least one Santa hat in the crowd at every game. Which, by the way, is ridiculous because it's still November, people. December the 1st, that's when Christmas starts.
And you're going to watch every game?
Well, I watch the highlights.
Yeah.
Hope it comes up on the highlights. Have a real zoomed in view on the crowd.
One thing I do like about Premiership Rugby is they do put the full matches up.
That is
on
true.
the website.
Yeah, I'm not watching full matches.
I do if I miss a Bristol game. I watch a full match of it.
That's fair. Go on then, what's your
my
outlandish
outlandish prediction? I have some time to think because we've not overrun by too much.
No.
Despite our...
We don't think too long because otherwise we're going to have pointless filler now.
Yeah, I think I am going to go for a prop. I always go for something about props.
Yeah.
But
Big up the front row.
A prop is gonna make a break, get tackled, and do an out the back or like a fancy.
Okay.
A fancy
offload.
So like something you'd expect from Semi Randrandra.
All right. Okay. So some like Fijian 7 shit.
Yeah. And for those that won't think this is outlandish enough, I'm saying a prop is going to make a break for a start.
Yeah, it's mainly the break bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's up. We'll see if those come true. And we'll see how our
outlandish
predictions do
offload
next week. So that really brings us to the end of the podcast. And it rather sadly, considering how good it's been this weekend, brings us to an end of the Autumn Internationals.
Yeah.
So, basically, Kieran, our conversation is now pointless until the Six Nations.
Well, Premiership action.
Yeah, of course. But
we do love some Premiership.
But hey, I can't wait for the Six Nations now, though.
Yep.
You know,
You're not wrong. I can't wait either.
Yeah.
I can't wait till the next World Cup even.
Yeah, I know. But hey ho. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the Autumn Internationals. We're now firmly into winter, given the weather outside.
Oh, it's freezing now.
Friday night's going to be a cold one,
Yeah,
and I can't believe I'm going to be sat in freezing cold, freezing my bollocks
Open
off
air at the
just
rec.
to watch Bath get absolutely slaughtered.
Yeah, get bollocks.
But I want to say then, hold on, before I say goodbye, make sure to check us out on social media, Instagram, TikTok. It's the Rugby Hour on there.
Yes, we don't just post podcast stuff. We post clips of just the most outrageous stuff.
Like that smack break from us.
Just your general rugby content. We'll be expanding it more and more as we, of course, get more time and more people to post it to. So follow us at the Rugby Hour on no spaces, nothing. The Rugby Hour, basically everywhere. TikTok, Instagram.
Yeah.
Apple Music, Spotify podcasts.
Yeah, but now that's out of the way, I guess that all there's left to say is thank you very, very much for listening, and hopefully you'll tune in again next week.
Yeah, here's to another, here's back to Premiership Rugby.
Right then, well, goodbye.
Goodbye.